spot, bringing stats like a kingpin. MMA knowledge, nieces, nephews all lean in. Breaking down fights, cold stat daddy supreme. On just a tip show, he's cooking up a dream. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Wanna know the numbers? Weezy got them cataloged. From the fighters reach down to how many times they dog. Just a tip living, breaking it down slick. Hit you with the knowledge, won't miss a single trick. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Balls, deep predictions, he be making those calls. Getting in the details, opponents feeling small. From jazz to takedowns, got the whole fight ID. Uncle Weezy spitting truth, no lie, keep it G. Blow the horn, blow the horn. Stat Daddy Weezy not showing no scorn. Fight Night Kingdom, he wearing the crown. Break it down for the peeps, never looking like a clown.
Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday afternoon. We had the weigh-ins for UFC Tampa, which is going to be headlined by Colby Chaos Covington and Joaquin Newmance of Buckley. 170-pound welterweight, 5-round fight. Should be a real banger. 13 total fights on this card. Everybody made weight. Everybody's ready to go. I've got a Greasy 4-leg parlay ready to go for you guys. I got a full card breakdown ready to go for you guys here. Last week, we finished down 2.91 units. Had a couple of close bets that didn't quite cash. Chiesa by decision was looking really good until he sunk in the rear naked choke in the third round. That was like a 3-unit swing for me. And then Randy Brown by decision, 1 unit at plus 500, 1 unit on the money line at plus 200. That was a 9-unit swing. So needed that one to go my way. It didn't, but it was a small down week. We're looking to finish this year on a plus note. Ass shaving of the week cashed last week. That was Alexander Pantoja, made it look pretty easy. And we had the Greasy 4-legger cash last week. So we want to finish the year out on a really good note here. We want to get that last Greasy 4-leg parlay to cash here. We want a really good week of picks and an up week on the betting slates here. So let's just get right into it. Let's break down this card really quick. Get my banners up here for you. Now, all of these lines that you see were the lines that were posted when I did the full card breakdown for my Patreon and Dub Club people earlier in the week. That is on Balls Deep Breakdowns and on Probability. All that content is available on the Patreon and Dub Club, and the links to those places are in the description of this video. You can check that out. But as far as going through these fights here, I got Josephine Knudsen by decision in the first fight of the night. I think Josephine Knudsen's a special fighter, and I think Pierre is also very good. Now, Pierre is live, in my opinion, here, because I think the line is a little bit wide. But the line is wide because Josephine Knudsen is a very good fighter. Fighters that have a prop bet that has a negative number next to it, they're cashing at an alarmingly high rate. And right now, Josephine Knudsen by decision is up at minus 165 on Caesars, minus 170 on DraftKings. And Bet Rivers won't even give you a line. They've decided that we're not going to offer lines on Piera Rodriguez versus Josephine Knudsen. Bet Rivers is completely staying out of the way, and they're not even offering you a decision prop on Josephine Knudsen. So I kind of feel like Josephine is going to win this fight, and it's not just because of this, obviously. I will share my screen with you guys here because that way you can take a look at what I'm picking here. But, yeah, this is the list of props right now that's available on Bet Rivers for Piera Rodriguez versus Josephine Knudsen. I don't know why they're not offering props on this fight, but that is the case. So, but yes, I am going with Josephine Knudsen by decision in this fight. I think Josephine's going to be the much better minute winner at distance striking range in this fight. Josephine Knudsen does have very good anti-grappling. I just think that Piera probably needs to get takedowns in the open mat. And if she's able to do that, I think that's where you can hold down Josephine. But I think if you try to wrestle Josephine on the fence, she's going to be more than capable to grab underhooks and to outstrike you in the clinch with that Muay Thai background that she has. So I do like Josephine to win the minutes of this fight and bank a decision here. The second fight of the night, very close to a pick'em here with Dangerous Davy Grant and Ramon Taveras. This is a fight that I really feel is an absolute coin flip, and it's one that I'm not getting my money anywhere near because Davy Grant is on a 1 year and 4 month layoff, and he's had recent neck surgery. So, and Davy Grant, though, has been in there with guys like Adrian Yanez and the most recent fight with a really good Daniel Marcos, two guys that are on this card. He's had really close striking matches with those guys who I believe are just as good, even if not better strikers than Ramon Taveras is right now at this point in his MMA career. So I'm going to go with the more experienced guy with the more impressive resume, a little bit of length, the better grappling game. I'm going to pick him to win a decision here, but I think it's going to be a very close fight. And like I said, other than an over in this fight, because I believe that both guys are going to be durable enough to last, I think that this one does go over. But outside of that, I'm really not convinced about who's going to win the fight, but I am picking Dangerous Davy Grant to win this one by decision here. Next fight, Miranda Maverick versus Jamie Lynn Horth. Miranda Maverick, a massive favorite here. And I do think she is the better grappler here, and I think she's probably going to throw a lot more on the feet. I think she wins this fight. I think she wins it by decision, but I think that there's, I'm a little bit different than a lot of the other cappers out there in terms of my opinion on Horth. I think she's pretty good. Jamie Lynn Horth has 3 UFC fights, and they're all against a solid level of competition. And they're all indistinguishable in terms of who won the fight, in my opinion. Like, I would have not had wanted to be a judge for any of Jamie Lynn Horth's fights because she's fighting UFC level competition and going to coin flip type fights with them. So I think that she might be able to keep this fight a lot closer than people think. I don't, when Miranda Maverick at minus 600, that's a fight that's indicating, that she's going to finish this girl. But you can see right there that the fight doesn't go to decision is 25% implied, which means that when you look at where they have fight goes, it's probably more like 81% implied because those always add up to more than 100% because you have to figure the VIG into that. Yeah, they're saying the judges get involved 4 out of 5 times here, but I'm supposed to be, 83% confident or 86% confident that Miranda Maverick wins this fight. It just doesn't jive for me. I kind of feel like Jamie Lynn Horth plus 3.5 points handicap at plus 150 could be cheeky here because, physicality means something in women's MMA, and Jamie Lynn Horth is much bigger and much stronger than Miranda Maverick. She's 4 inches taller than her. And we've seen her in the clinch with girls like Haley Cohen, who is a massive bantamweight. And we've seen Jamie Lynn Horth go into the clinch with Haley and do well there. So if Miranda winds up spending a lot of minutes in the clinch with Jamie, I think it's going to be a very close fight, actually. A little too close for comfort if you're laying a lot of juice on Miranda Maverick. But I'm picking Maverick to win this one by decision. But I think that Jamie Lynn Horth plus 3.5 points handicap at plus 150 is a cheeky play. The next fight is going to be Miles Johns versus Felipe Lima. I am picking Lima to win this one by 3rd round submission, but this is another one that I feel like the line is a little bit wide on the favorite here, but Lima's a little bit more explosive in my opinion. He's a lot younger, but Miles Johns is tested at a much higher level, and he's winning minutes at a very high level. So I think that potentially Johns could have some success here in the grappling exchanges. But the one thing that I noticed about Miles Johns is that he just doesn't like being pressured. If you constantly pressure Miles Johns and you have enough durability to walk through some of the shots that he's going to land because he's such an accurate and powerful counter striker, you got the power to walk through that. You got the durability to walk through that. You can break Miles Johns because he never had the best cardio. And, he really does thrive when he kind of just stands in front of his opponent and is able to manage range and use his pinpoint counter striking and his good anti-grappling to keep the fight standing if you're the one that wants to take it down, and to land the bigger shots while you're at distance striking range and kind of just hypnotize you into that low volume point fighting match. Felipe doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who's going to allow Miles to fight that kind of a fight here. So I think we're going to see a lot of explosive strikes from Lima. He loves his jump knees, the jump knees to the body and to the head. We saw him get a really nice knockout in Fight Club Rush over Evgeny Organov with a jump knee to the body. It landed, he started off with the right knee, and then the left knee came through, put it right into his liver, and the dude just collapsed. So I think Lima is going to put pressure on Miles Johns here, get him on the back foot. And if he's able to do that a lot in the second and third rounds, I think we could see Felipe breaking Miles late in this fight. Now, the one thing that I think is interesting, though, this fight is at featherweight. Both of these guys are bantamweights. Because Miles Johns was supposed to fight Cody Garbrandt 2-3 weeks ago at bantamweight, and I forget when Cody pulled out, whether if it was on weigh-in day or if he had weighed in and then wasn't cleared to fight. But I'm pretty sure the reason this fight that is at featherweight is because they both took it on short notice due to Miles being scheduled to fight about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think Miles has already cut weight once this month, and I think they both agreed, let's just do it at featherweight. So it's a featherweight fight, but these are two bantamweights. And because it's at featherweight, I think that there's a possibility. I think that favors Miles Johns because he's not going to have to cut at nearly as much weight. And because of that, he's less likely to get tired in the second half of the fight. But it's going to be on Lima to make Miles Johns tired here. So I am picking a late finish for Felipe Lima, the second straight third-round submission, but we'll see how it goes. Next fight, Sean Woodson versus Fernando Padilla. I've got Padilla winning this one by second-round submission. This is another fight. Sean Woodson does not like being pressured. And I think that Fernando Padilla, when you watch the tape on this guy, he is walking forward when he's at distance striking range. If he wasn't somebody that I saw historically pressuring his opponents on the feet, I would be picking Sean Woodson to win this fight by decision. But Sean doesn't deal well with pressure, and Sean really doesn't have power. And if he's unable to get the respect of Padilla, I think he's going to be backing up in this fight. And I think the more that he backs up, the more tired he's going to get. The more tired he gets, the potential for a sloppy shot on a takedown and the possibility of Padilla locking up a guillotine or a darce or some kind of a front choke, I think starts going up, 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 up. So the reason I'm picking Padilla here is because I'm expecting him to pressure. If Padilla doesn't go out there and pressure this dude, I think it's going to be a very long night for him, and I think he's just going to get picked apart at range. But if Padilla can get Sean on the back foot, I think he's going to win this fight, and not just win it, but win it inside the distance. So I do like Padilla. I like the submission here, and I like round 2 for that fight. Next fight, Joel Alvarez, big favorite here against Drakkar Klose. Fight doesn't go to decision. We're sitting at minus 190 here. I'm picking Joel Alvarez by second-round submission again. I think Padilla and Alvarez are going to do it back-to-back here. Klose is a very good fighter. I got a lot of respect for this guy. He's 9-2 in the UFC. You don't get to that kind of a record at this level without, having some serious skills and a really good idea of when to do what. But Drakkar, since the whiplash, the concussion, whatever it was, the neck injury that was a result of Jeremy Stevens shoving him like an hour after he had just cut a ton of weight. I don't think we've seen exactly the same guy. I loved what I saw against Brandon Jenkins. Got a win against Rafa Garcia. That's not an easy win to get. But Drakkar is a guy who fights on very thin margins. You look at his decision wins, and most of them are 29-28 decision wins. And Joel Alvarez is somebody who doesn't ever look to win minutes. He's never won a decision in his career. So this is a guy who's not going out there trying to outpoint you. He's going out there to finish you. And Drakkar Klose is going out there to outpoint his opponents. So I think that Drakkar is really going to have to fight a perfect fight here. But unfortunately, against Joel Alvarez, there's not a lot of places to hide. He's a very talented distance striker. He throws a lot of kicks to all targets on the body, does Joel Alvarez. I think he's got very good technique on the feet, and he's a very durable guy as well. So Alvarez is somebody who's going to be walking you down, who's going to be pressuring you, at distance striking range. And because he throws so much volume, because he throws so many kicks, and because he's a pretty accurate striker in addition to all of that, he usually gets his opponents to shoot in on him, and they will either shoot right into a guillotine or go right into his guard where he starts working his triangle armbar series. And he's a very, very talented grappler. 100% of his wins do come inside the distance, and he's got something like 18 or 19 submission wins as a professional. So I'm looking for Joel Alvarez as now Klose is starting to take these steps up, and he's admittedly been saying, like, I want the easiest fight in the division. He's not getting any more easy fights, and Joel Alvarez did make weight. He didn't look great, but I think he's going to go out there, and I think he's going to find that finish against Drakkar Klose here. So I'm looking for a second-round submission from Joel Alvarez this week. The next fight is going to be Michael Johnson versus Ottman Azaitar. I've got Johnson winning this one by first-round KO. I just think that this is a levels fight. I don't rate Ottman Azaitar at all. I think his wins are completely fraudulent at the UFC level. I mean, these are two of the chinniest guys in the history of the organization in Paquelin and Kama Worthy. And, and when he stepped in there against real competition like Frivola and even Francisco Prado, who's only like 22 years old out of Argentina, he's getting slept violently. And I think that that's probably what's going to happen here. Maybe it's round one, maybe it's round two, but Michael Johnson, I mean, is better in every area of mixed martial arts than Ottman Azaitar. I mean, everybody has a puncher's chance in this sport. And I think that Ottman's power is a little bit overrated, to be honest with you guys. But even so, we've seen Michael Johnson violently knocked out, specifically in that Carlos Diego Ferreira fight. A big overhand right from Ottman would be the same thing that Carlos landed. So, I mean, potentially we could see Ottman, finish Johnson. But I think that this is going to be Michael Johnson all day. I think he's just going to finish him early here. I don't think it's going to be close. I think that, like, while these guys are at distance striking range, you're just going to see Johnson toying this dude like a cat toys with a little insect that it's about to kill. So looking for Michael Johnson to knock this dude out in the very first round. Next fight, Navajo Sterling versus Tuco Tacos. Sterling minus 800, Tacos plus 550. I am picking, and I'm going to be the only guy picking Tacos here, but I'm making a point. I was talking about this on Balls Deep Breakdowns. What is this shit? Minus 900? Really? For Navajo Sterling? Minus 900. For a guy that there's literally no tape of this guy fighting MMA. I got to take other people's words for it that he's fucking good at MMA. I can't see it with my own eyes. I mean, like, the only fight that is available to watch, I looked on the tape index, like this guy's got no fucking tape. He's got 8 minutes against Philip Latu, who's a pure kickboxer who had 4 professional MMA fights. Look, I know Navajo Sterling's a phenomenal kickboxer. We know that. He's won the King of the Ring tournament in New Zealand. We know he trains at City Kickboxing with guys like Ulberg and Izzy and Hooker and all those quality fighters, quality athletes. But this is an MMA. This is a UFC debut, first of all. So you don't want to lay juice on debutantes. It's a bad idea. It becomes even a worse idea when you're laying minus 800 on a guy that you have 8 minutes of tape to watch, so that makes it even worse. What makes it even worse than that is that anybody signing up to take a trip from New Zealand to Florida anytime soon, literally halfway across the world, this guy is going to make his MMA debut in South Florida against a guy that can, drive to the arena in 1 hour, because Tuco Tacos is training in South Florida at Kill Cliff FC. Another thing, I mean, there's no tape of Navajo Sterling grappling at all. So what does his grappling game look like? I mean, I know that Tuco Tacos is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu brown belt. I know that he's training regularly over at Kill Cliff with guys like Brendan Allen. I know that this guy's got a submission win over a former Penn State wrestler in Cade York. I've seen him, dislocate somebody's elbow, taking him down with a great double leg takedown. Just like Stoltzfus broke Pfeiffer's arm on Dana White's Contender Series, Tuco Tacos did that to Myron Dennis, 19-10 professional fighter. This is going to be his 15th professional fight. We've never really even seen Sterling fight. So I'm picking Tacos to win here. I'm making a point that this ridiculous shit of making a guy where literally nobody knows if the guy can grapple his way out of a paper bag or not, and you're going to lay minus 900 on a debutante doing that in Florida, halfway across the world against a BJJ brown belt. I think it's stupid. So I'm making a point here. I'm picking Tuco Tacos to win by submission in round number 2. And I'm going to be betting 1 unit total on him, probably 3/4 of a unit on the money line. And I'll probably play the 1/4 unit on the submission prop. Adrian Yanez versus Daniel Marcos. I'm going with Marcos by decision here, but I think that this is going to be a very close fight. Marcos at minus 225, it feels off to me. I feel like Marcos should probably be about minus 150 here because of the fact that he throws more leg kicks, because of the fact that we know that the dude is more durable. But, Adrian Yanez is he's got better hands than Marcos does, and he's got better conditioning than Marcos does. And the strength of schedule is actually pretty similar. So, I think that Yanez, if you're willing to take a shot on the Yanez side this week, I certainly don't hate it at plus 190-ish. I think that this is just a little bit wide on Marcos, but because I like the fact that he's going to probably score more points with kicks than Yanez will, because I like the fact that Marcos, I can count on his durability a little bit more. And if the fight does go to decision, and I think it will, Yanez is not undefeated. Marcos is undefeated, and undefeated fighters can lose close fights and get the nod on the scorecard. So I think playing undefeated fighters by decision when you think the fight is going to be close and it's going to go to the scorecards. Josephine Knutsen's a really good example of that as well. I think if it's a 50-50 fight and it gets to the scorecards, Josephine gets the nod because she's undefeated and Piera isn't. And I think it could be the same situation here. So Marcos by decision is the pick for that. Next fight, Petrino versus Jacoby. We got Vitor Petrino minus 275, Jacoby plus 235. Fight doesn't go to decision here, sitting at minus 210. I'm going with Petrino by decision. The reason for that is I think he might land the bigger moments on the feet here because he's got a lot of power, because he's about 7 years younger, because he's a lot more athletic. And also, I rate Petrino as the guy more likely to win minutes in the grappling exchanges of this fight. He's got good takedowns and he's got good cardio to be able to push a grappling heavy pace for the full 3 rounds at this 205-pound division, something you don't see very often. Jacoby's a damn good kickboxer, obviously, and he's fought the higher level competition. He's been here longer. He's more tested. And even though he lost in his last fight by knockout in the first round to Reyes, I think that what's important to note is that, he's been historically durable. And it's not like just Dustin Jacoby's 42 years old and, like he's falling apart like a Chinese motorcycle. He's still a fairly young guy. I don't think he's like 38 yet or anything like that. So I think Jacoby's durable enough for the goal of the full 15 minutes. I think that this one's going to see the scorecards, but I'm going to favor that youth. I'm going to favor, I think, a little bit more power on the Petrino side, and I'm going to favor the grappling upside, and I'm picking Vitor Petrino to win this one by decision. 3 more fights left. This one, Manel Kape minus 365, Bruno Silva plus 300. Fight doesn't go, sitting around plus 140-ish. I'm picking Kape by decision here, but I actually made a bet on Bruno Silva's finish-only prop at plus 350. Bruno Silva's got one-punch knockout power. I mean, we just saw it in the Cody Durden fight. We saw Cody get 7 shades of shit beaten out of him by Josh Van for 3 full rounds. Never gave up, stayed in the fight, kept recuperating. Dude, Bruno Silva touched him once and it was over with that uppercut. So I believe in Bruno Silva's power. I believe in Bruno Silva's submission upside. I believe that Bruno Silva is the better wrestler here. So I think if he chooses to wrestle, he might be the one getting into dominant positions where he can threaten with submissions as well. So I'm picking Kopp by decision, and I understand that Kopp's, got some explosive power in his own right, but Bruno Silva's a really durable dude, and I think that he's going to keep this fight fairly close. I think Silva's a kind of a live underdog here. I'm not the type of person who would ever be comfortable laying juice on somebody like Manel Kopp, who A, always has so much trouble with the weight cut, B, tends to pull stunts in there, C, will tend to sometimes be a little bit low volume. So I took a shot, 1 unit on the Bruno Silva finish only prop, but the pick is going to be Manel Kopp by decision because I think he should be the one winning the minutes while this fight is at distance striking range. Co-main event of the evening, Cub Swanson at plus 135, going up against Billy Quarantillo, who's got a gym in Tampa, at minus 155. Fight doesn't go to decision here, sitting at minus 115. I'm picking Quarantillo KO3 in front of the home crowd here. I'm looking for him to kind of just weather that early storm from Cub and refuse to fuck off and just march forward like a zombie and can make Cub grapple and break him late. But I don't have any faith in it because, even at Cub at 41 years old, still looks like he's showing up and fighting at a fairly high level. And Billy Quarantillo is somebody that I've never had faith in the defense of Billy. He is going to take a lot of damage. He is going to get hit. He does kind of need to pull a Homer Simpson and get you a little bit tired early in the fight and depend on his durability to get to the 7-minute mark where he starts to really kind of put it on you, get you on the back foot, and start to drain your gas tank. So Billy needs to get going, and by get going, it's usually going to mean that he's actually absorbing more than he's landing, but he's going to try to get you on that back foot. He's going to try to tire you out. He's going to try to own the second half of the fight. I think he's going to get there, because Billy is somebody that people are saying he's starting to get a little bit washed, but Billy's 36. Cub is 41, and Cub has more tread off the tires, so to speak, more miles on the engine, if you will. So I'm not betting this fight, but I think it's one of the best fights on the card in terms of fan-friendly, two guys that really show up and look to get in there and scrap. Both these guys are going to fight for your money. No matter which one you put your money on, I think that Cub Swanson and Billy Quarantillo is going to really deliver for the fans here. I'm picking Quarantillo, but I think it's going to be a great fight. And then the main event of the evening, some money coming in on the chaos side here is he was plus 235 on Wednesday night when I did my full card breakdown. Joaquin Buckley was minus 275, but now I think we're seeing Colby around 200, and I think Joaquin around, what is it, about minus 235 here? Let's have a look. See, yeah, minus 235 for Joaquin, plus 200 for Colby. And my pick for this fight is going to be Joaquin Buckley by 3rd round knockout. However, I think that this is going to be a really good fight. I think that Joaquin's going to do a little bit better in the wrestling defense than people think he will. And I think that Colby's going to do a little bit better in the striking exchanges than people think he will. Colby, for me, is the side at plus 200. There's no way I would lay minus 235 on Joaquin Buckley to, if Colby gets his game going, man. I mean, he's going to drown this dude. Just like the guy in Bellator did. It's like a dime store version of Colby. What the hell is his name? I'm gonna find it for you. It's Logan Storley, I think. I mean, it's a long time ago. It was 2018, but that's what Logan Storley does. And if you watch that fight, what he did to Joaquin is what Colby Covington does to people. So I do think that Colby is the side on the money line here. I'm picking Joaquin to win this fight because I think he's going to land big shots on the feet. I think he's got the kind of power or if he lands just once and right and clean, that it could be the end of the fight, or he could set up the fight ending sequence. So, and I just didn't like what I saw from Colby last time out. I know that he broke his foot. So the broken foot narrative, if it's true, if he did break his foot on the first kick of the fight, I think he can come back and look very good here. And I think that if Colby does get his game going, it's going to be one of those bets where, like, at the end of the third round, you're going to be laughing your ass off because you're going to know it's already over. Just like when Pereira fought Anthony Hernandez and Hernandez started to get his game going, you're like, well, this shit's over. Because that's what happens when Colby gets his game going. He gets you going backwards. You know, he gets you where you're not confident to throw your strikes. And once he gets you going backwards, dude, it's pretty much over because you're going to wind up with your back against that fence. And once Colby starts cage wrestling, you're going to be defending the entire time. And he's not going to get tired. So, or at least he's not going to get tired before you get tired. So I like Colby here. I'm going to probably get on the money line. I don't know what else I'm going to do, though, but that's what I've got for you guys in terms of the full card breakdown. I will give you guys the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week this week is definitely going to be my guy Fernando Padilla's money line at plus 135. Like I say, Padilla is somebody that when I watch the tape on Woodson, I go, well, I'm looking for one thing on Padilla's tape because I know the guy's submission game is very, very good. And I know that he's very durable as he's never been finished in 21 professional fights and 5 professional losses. So I know he's more durable than Sean Woodson. And I already know that he's got the better submission game compared to Sean Woodson. So I'm like, does this guy walk forward? And then I watch the tape and I'm like, oh, he walks forward. He walks forward. And, you know, Sean just doesn't have the power to get somebody's respect. And because Fernando is so durable, I think it's just going to be very difficult for Sean to get his respect. And if Sean can't get his respect, I think he's going to wind up on his back foot for the majority of this fight. The longer he winds up on the back foot against Padilla, the more likely it is that he gets finished here. Padilla's not a great minute winner, you guys. We're picking Padilla because we think he's going to get his hand raised inside the distance here, finishing Sean Woodson with a Darce choke, a guillotine choke, or potentially some elbows and knees in the clinch. But Fernando Padilla's money line is the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week, which leaves us with one more order of business on the full card breakdown, and that is going to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. The ass shaving of the week is the pick that we think the guy is going to go out there and not just win, but win in impressive fashion, win inside the distance, win with a submission, win with a highlight reel knockout. And I mean, like, come on. Joel Alvarez, a 6'3" lightweight with a 100% finish rate and 21 wins. Yes, please. Against a guy in Drakkar Klose whose durability is becoming a lot more questionable, who's getting older, who's out there admitting that he's asking for the easiest fights that the UFC will possibly give him. They did not give him an easy fight this time around. This guy, Joel Alvarez, his only UFC loss come against Demiris Magulov and Arman Sarukian, who's fighting for the title. I do think that Joel is going to get the job done here. I don't think Drakkar Klose is going to be able to hold Joel against the cage or on the mat for long enough to put off what is inevitably coming, and that is a Joel Alvarez knockout or submission before the 15-minute mark comes up. Joel Alvarez inside the distance, one of my favorite bets of this week. And your Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week is Joel Alvarez to shave the ass of Drakkar Klose. And let's do a Greasy 4-leg parlay here. Then I'm going to talk to the chat as I've got 94 unread comments and 126 of you guys live watching right now. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave me a comment. This is the last show of 2024. And after the fights tomorrow, I am going to start working on upgrading the visual presentations of my content for my Patreon and my Dub Club members. I'm looking to make Probability and not just Stat Diggers, which is going to be free for you guys, you know, with me and Brady, but also Probability and Balls Deep Breakdowns. I'm looking to make them two of the most useful shows available for MMA gamblers. And that means that I need to do a couple of other things, because I already have these phenomenal betting models that you can use for over-under bets, that you can use for prop bets. But what we need to do is to get the visual presentation of this data into some kind of a slideshow presentation here, so that we can take you through all the available information that I have access to, because I have the benchmarks for every division, because I have every UFC fighter's career stats, because I have the data of every UFC fight that has taken place between January 1st, 2013 and today. So because I have all of that information, I have the ability to make some of the best content for MMA gamblers that is available to make, because I have more access to more information than people do. But in order to make it accessible to you guys and valuable to you guys, it needs to go from a spreadsheet format on this screen to a slideshow format, where the data is big, it's visible, and we take you through in the same way every single fight. So that is something I'm going to be working on for you guys, and I'm looking to make my Patreon and Dub Club only, members only content the best and most valuable content out there on the web. So look forward to next year, 2025, especially when UFC 311 happens, with the Islam Makhachev versus Arman Sarukian fight, with the Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov fight. I'm hoping to debut that content for free for you guys for 1 week, and give some kind of a promo code to the Patreon and Dub Club for people that haven't signed up yet, to get in on that at a rock bottom price and lock it in for the rest of the year, so that we can have this content fuel one of the best betting years of all of our careers in 2025. So I'm looking forward to doing that with you guys. But let's get into the Greasy 4-leg parlay here. Leg one, let's see, is going to be Josephine Knudsen by decision. Let me see if I've got this up here. So we're going to go to winning method up here, and I'm going to go Josephine Knudsen to win by decision. My betting model really does like the Knudsen by decision prop here at minus 170, because Josephine Knudsen has 8 professional wins. 7 of them are by decision. And Piera Rodriguez, while she's been finished in both of her losses, one of them she didn't tap. It was a drunken Keith Peterson that screwed up. The other one, it was a disqualification due to headbutts. So Josephine Knudsen, not much of a finisher. Josephine Knudsen, the better minute winner in the striking exchanges. Josephine Knudsen, the better minute winner in the clinch exchanges here. I even believe that Josephine Knudsen's cage wrestling is just as good, if not better, than Piera Rodriguez's. But Piera Rodriguez needs to get takedowns in the open mat, like Pilastri did, in order to have success against Josephine. Well, because Josephine is going to be owning the distance striking exchanges of this fight. So Josephine Knudsen by decision is going to be leg number 1 of this parlay here on draft. Let's see if BetRivers finally opened props on the Josephine Knudsen fight. Hey, we're less than 24 hours away from this fight, and they still do not have props, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, you dicks, BetRivers. All right, so yeah, minus 175. Looks like we're doing the parlay on DraftKings, ladies and gentlemen. So Josephine Knudsen by decision, minus 175, leg number 1. Leg number 2, an alternative over-under, the 1.5 rounds for Davy Grant versus Ramon Taveras. Let's take a look at my betting model here. And the over-under for this bet, minus 245. Davy Grant's had 12 UFC fights. 10 of them have went over 1.5 rounds. I think that both of these guys are actually kind of durable. I know everybody's saying Tavares isn't. He's a little bit chinny, and he does cut a lot of weight. That's one thing, is that Tavares is always one of the last to the scale. He's missed weight in 2 out of his 3 fights at the UFC level between Dana White's Contender Series and his UFC debut. He missed weight both times against Surrey City. So, I suppose there is a chance, for Davy Grant to get an early KO here. But Davy Grant's fights 10 of 12 times. Ramon Taveras at the UFC level, 1 of 1. That's 11 of 13 or 84.62% of their combined UFC fights. This is very close to a trifecta bet. My model is indicating that there's a lot of betting value at minus 245, but this is actually minus 230, I believe, on DraftKings Sportsbook. If we go to the over 1.5 rounds at minus 230, you could see that probably takes it now to a trifecta bet. It does. Yeah, 15% in total savings here from the 84.62 to the 69.7. And my stylistic read is that this fight goes to decision and that either Grant or Tavares wins it. I'm picking Grant by decision, but I'm just not counting on the 39-year-old to get a KO here. And I'm thinking that these guys are both going to scrap for the full 15 minutes here. So the over 1.5 rounds in the Grant Tavares fight is going to be the second leg of this parlay, which brings us up to plus 125 for this two-legger. Leg number 3 is going to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, Joel Alvarez, to win inside the distance. We're going to go up here to fight props. We're going to go to winning method. We're going to go over here to win by finish. And we're going to scroll down to our guy, Joel Alvarez, the ass shaving of the week, to shave ass at minus 140. Brings this 3-leg parlay up to plus 286. And I usually like to hedge out on a fat leg here. Can't do it this week. Needed to find something that had a little bit of value here. And we're going to keep our butt cheeks clenched for the full 12.5 minutes in leg number 4 here. And we're going with the over 2.5 rounds in the Adrian Yanez versus Daniel Marcos fight. Daniel Marcos is very, very durable. And Adrian Yanez, while he's been knocked out in both of his losses, one of them was leg kicks. The other one was just a nasty uppercut from Rob Font, who's a lot more powerful than Daniel Marcos. Marcos more of a minute winner at this level. So I do see these guys kind of going back and forth in boxing for the full 15 minutes here. And I think that the over 2.5 rounds at minus 135, while my model does not like it, this is a stylistic read that's flying in the face of my betting model because Adrian Yanez's fights have finished inside the distance 7 of 8 times at the UFC level. But keep in mind, this is a boxer versus boxer matchup here. And we've got the pillow fist gloves. So pillow fist gloves has me going with 2 overs here. The Yanez Marcos, because I don't see any submissions in that fight, and the Grant Tavares fight, because I don't see any grappling in that fight either. So I think that they're going to have to get knockouts with the pillow fist gloves. I don't think that's very likely. So this 4-leg parlay came out to plus 583 when I put the banners together. I think we lost just a little bit of value on that Yanez Marcos over. I think it was minus 130 when I put this together. Yeah, it was minus 130. Now it's minus 135. So it's plus 572 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Let's cash this thing and make it 2 in a row as we cashed last week's plus 605. And it'll be a great way to end the year for this, the last Just the Tip Greasy 4-leg parlay of the year 2024. Let me see what we got here. Let me go to I'm going to talk to all of you guys here in the chat. We got my guys Olajuwon Dream in the room saying, let's cash another. He's going to be at a tournament, but he's going to check in afterwards. We got my guy TH in the room saying, oi! And we've got Forrest Daniel saying, getting paid leads to getting laid. So let's make life easy and make cash by listening to Uncle Weezy. My man knows how to rhyme. Forrest Daniels, good to see you hanging out in here. And we got Faking says Disperdeck in the room. We've got Mushroom in the room saying, what's up, Unc? Sneak watching at work, then right to the casino to tail your parlay. Let's get this one, my man. We got Paul Cassidy saying, oi, Uncle Weezy taking care of business. What's up, Paul? Good to see you hanging out in here. Sped MMA Enjoyer saying, yo, Weezy, could you make a new Discord link on your Patreon, please? The one you got on right now is expired. Just so you know, I saw this comment before we went live, so I posted it to the Patreon. So, Sped, if you're listening right now, go to the Patreon. There's a new link. Join up with us, ready to go. And anybody else that's new to the Patreon, we're ready to go with the new link there. I have to. They're supposed to last for like 2 weeks, and some of these things like they're dead after 3 days. So, yeah, that's what we're going with. We got MM232 saying, Yo, Unc, any safe locks for tomorrow to make some decent money? Thanks. No, I don't think there's much in the way of locks on this card. I'm not even picking Navajo Sterling to win, who's minus 800. I think all of these favorite lines are extremely wide, ridiculous. So I don't think there's anything safe on this card. The problem is that the parlay boys have been so successful this year that they've just completely lost their goddamn minds. They don't know that underdogs cash all the time in MMA. And just because this year that the underdogs is not, it's been a bad year to bet underdogs, they're coming back. They're, because these lines are just getting pushed entirely too far. And it's because of the boldness of the people who don't understand that this fight, that this sport has so much variance built into it that it's going to be very hard to continue, parlaying minus 300s and doing it safely. Juicy Q saying last oi of the year. Let's go. We got my guy Kadeep, the Godfather, in the room saying, oi, what is up, dude? We got Muhammad in the room saying, what's up, and Weezy and Shaq. Good to see you hanging out in here, Muhammad. We got Doritos in the room saying, Weez, what's up, dude? We got Real Fight Pig saying, just the tip, just real quick. Let me feel it one time. You got it, buddy. We got great work last week, Unc, on both your four-legger and ass shaving of the week. They both hit beautifully. As a matter of fact, I did have Pantoja by second round submission as the pick. So it's always good when you hit the fighter, the method, and the round correctly. We got Andre Chanet in the room saying fire. What's up, Andre? Good to see you hanging out in here. Damare Sim saying, oi, 8 hours to Wyoming to make the bets. Oh, damn, dude. That is a long trip. May we all cash tickets like flapjacks. Let's get it this week, Damare. Have a great trip to Wyoming. We got Real Fight Pick saying, what's up to Mushroom? We got Mushroom saying, what's up to Olajuwon Dream? Khalid Seba in the room saying, Unc, do you like Knutson under 1.5 takedowns at minus 200? Yes. I think she might get one, but I'd be surprised if Josephine got 2 takedowns. I could see her getting a reverse or 2, but I don't think she's going to be initiating the wrestling here. I mean, I suppose you never know, Khalid, but I'm going to say I like that. I think minus 200 is a fair line for 0 or 1 takedowns for Knutson. We got my guy Michael in the room. What's up, Michael? Good to see you hanging out in here saying flapjacks for all. Stack them. Ray Charles is in the room saying, oi. We got Mushroom saying, what's up, Real Fight Picks. We got Forrest saying, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, Uncle Weezy. Same to you, brother. Same to all of you guys out there. Very, very happy. We got Desi Juron in the room saying, let's say I bet Azatar KO round 1 and put Johnson in a parlay. Is that stupid, LOL? Well, I mean, nothing's stupid until the results come through, but there are good bets and bad bets, but it really does depend on how the fighters perform. And since we never know exactly how they're going to perform, nothing's really that stupid beforehand. But yeah, I mean, there's no way you could cash both bets, and you got to be careful about doing that on multiple fights on a card. But yeah, it's always about return on investment. And I just, I think Johnson's parlay money will cash, and I think the Azatar KO round 1 is not. Yeah. We got Muhammad saying the last 2 cards, maybe about $13,000 combined. Very pleased. Shout out Pantoja for the better Xmas. Nice work. We got my guy Jeff K in the room. What's up, Jeff? Good to see you hanging out in here, man. Saying 8 hours. Why not just use offshore books? Yeah, some people can't get, like, some of those offshore books will block you if you're from certain states in the union, for instance. Like I remember I could access Bet Online when I was in when I was in Italy, but I couldn't when I was in France. I mean, like those offshore books, they can get a little bit tricky sometimes. But like, I'm sure if Damare is making an 8-hour trip to Wyoming, it's because he has to, not because he's just like, decided not to get a VPN. Probably not the case, but you never know. Raheem in the room saying, do you think Colby would have beaten Hamza? No, I don't think. I think Hamzat's probably a better wrestler than him. That's a good question, though. Because Hamzat, who knows? Like the cardio of Hamzat could have been a serious problem. But I feel like Hamzat's Brazilian jiu-jitsu is better than Colby's is. But it's a good question, man. Yes. Well, I've got the poll in the other room. Yeah, we all celebrate the Festivus for the rest of us. The airing of the grievances, the poll, the feats of strength. Yeah, every year, definitely. Muhammad saying no. Jeff K saying I don't see it. Hamzat all day, even though he's human garbage. We got Zach Johnson in the room saying, "What up, Unc? Oi!" We got There Will Be Blood saying, "What up, Uncle Weezy? Been out for a while. Let's cash this last card, brother. Let's get it. There Will Be Blood. Good to see you hanging out in here." Muhammad Bruce Lee saying 4,000 on Maverick minus 300. We'll give a bit back on Horth plus 550. There you go. It's not a bad idea at all. Get that ARB in there, my man. Forrest saying, Uncle Weezy, what is your most underrated fight on this Tampa card? Underrated fight. Dude, I think it's Knutson versus Piera. I think they're both pretty damn good strawweights who have potential to be top 15. And yeah, I think Knutson versus Rodriguez is a very high level fight here. So I think that is, if we're talking about underrated, I would say that is the one. Saying what's up to Mushroom there. Weezy, what's up, Pro Schmo? Good to see you hanging out. You got to sprinkle Maverick by sub. It's Horth. Yeah. We got Flo in the room saying, "Oh, what's up, Flo? Good to see you hanging out, man." We got Horth is bog, but not good. We got big, but not good. Yes. She is also bog. And ring a ding ding, you guys. We got Riff Raff in the room with a $20 donation saying, "Don't be a data hater. Let your uncle show you the way. Keep up the great work, Weezy." Do truly appreciate the kind words, Riff Raff. Truly appreciate the donation to the show, man. It means a lot. Happy Friday to you. Happy last card of the year to all of you guys. We're going to take a little break and we're going to be back in January. We got There Will Be Blood saying Lima sub decision. Good parlay piece for me. I think that's a good look. We got bog equals shit in your toilet in the UK. I've never heard that term before. It's a bog when you take a rip and then you don't flush and just leave it there. And then put the sign above the toilet and it's like says, you know, like Pro Schmo Bets was here, you know. We got Jamie Lynn Horth may win. I think it could be a close fight, man. We'll see. Very likely. Good shit, Weezy. What's up, Pro Schmo? Good to see you hanging out, man. Nah, she's Canadian, says There Will Be Blood. We got Paul in the room, says, "Hey, Weezy, let's go Thunder Knutson. Let's get it, man." I think Josephine's a really good fighter. Pro Schmo saying Jamie does not absorb too many punches. Yeah, man, I think that's very important. You know, take as little damage as possible. And that's why her fights have been close. The Diddy of MMA. What is up, Steven Martinez? Good to see you hanging out in here. And who is the Diddy of MMA, by the way? Who are you saying is the Diddy of MMA? We got Pro Schmo Bets with the brain. We got There Will Be Fights, or There Will Be Blood saying pass the Woodson fight. Plus 650 Padilla sub ain't bad. We got Lynn Horth does not absorb a lot of shots. The implied probability is inconsistent. Horth defense is strong at 69%. Plus 120, plus 3.5 points handicap. I don't mind it. The takedown defense about 70%, and you're going with the hammer. There you go. What do I think about the plus 3.5 on Rodriguez? I don't mind it, man. I mean, let me see what the line is, though. So Piera, oh man, minus 165. That's a lot of juice to lay. Let's see what it is on Bet Rivers. Where is it? Oh, they don't have it on Bet Rivers. They decided that they didn't want to put that out there. So that's interesting. It's a big number at plus 3.5 at minus 165. I wouldn't lay that kind of juice because Knutson's so clean. He's so clean out there. Now, I think Piera can get takedowns and win minutes, but I like I said, if the wrestling happens on the cage and not in the open mat, I don't think Piera is going to beat her there. I think Josephine probably wins the cage wrestling exchanges. I think that's how that's why I'm picking Josephine to win. Maverick by sub says there will be blood. D's Nuts saying, yeah, he has to. I would think that that's right, D's Nuts, man. He is so he's so big for 155, and you could tell, that he was hurting on that scale today. Y'all think Alvarez can get a decision? Close is tough. Yeah, I think he could. He's never won one before, but I mean, Alvarez does enough on the feet that it's not like you're saying like the guy's incapable of winning decision. He's only a moment winner. I think that he's a solid minute winner, especially at distance striking range. Very good pick, says Pro Schmo. Ottoman had a guy climb a building to bring him PEDs. Is this true? I don't know what was in the bag. I don't know if anyone actually knows what was in the bag, but yeah, that's true. I mean, like they were breaking the COVID protocols, which were, of course, were fucking stupid as shit. But either way, there was a pandemic going on. So they had all these crazy rules and they were putting them on Yaz Island so that only certain people were allowed on the island so that there could be that, illusion of like, okay, yeah, we're doing everything we need to do in order to keep the fighters safe from this horrible pandemic, But so like the rules were stupid to begin with, but obviously somebody scaling a wall with a duffel bag to go to somebody's room probably isn't bringing them fucking potatoes. So I don't know what was in that bag, but something illicit. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. And you're saying Michael Johnson. Yeah, I think Michael Johnson wins easily here. There will be blood. This is true, unfortunately. Yes. Wow, crazy. That is true. Yep. Uncle Weezy, here we go. What is up, Stacy and Paul? Doc saying everyone liked the video. Appreciate you. Navo should win, but I agree the odds should be cut in half. Yeah, exactly, dude. Like I'm doing this just to make a point, that like something fucking Navo Sterling at minus 800 is just absurd. It's just absurd. Get wherever else. I mean, like this is MMA, not kickboxing. So what if he gets taken down? What happens then? Is this guy a white belt on the mat? We're gonna find out. The shots Frivola finish Azaitar with weren't anything special. Ottman looked very chinny there, less so versus Prado. Yeah, Prado hits really hard too. But yeah, dude, I mean, I just don't think Ottman's very good. I just think Tacos is that bad. Yeah, I mean, he's 10-4 though, so we're gonna find out, how good Sterling is. And he's not making his debut in New Zealand or in Australia where somebody's coming to fight him there on his turf. It's the other way around, so it's that's something that he's going to have to deal with. There's a lot of narrative issues that are standing in the way of, making it like smart at all to lay minus 800 on this guy. Zhang is a killer. Yes, he is, dude. That dude has got a head like an Easter Island statue, and he's seriously durable. We got Muhammad saying contrarian Weezy. I don't know much about Sterling. No interest in betting it, but Tacos is awful. Yeah, I mean, go and watch the Cade York fight. Go and watch the Myron Dennis fight. He's had some decent performances against good regional scene competition. Like, for instance, Cade York, who Tacos beat, and also the other guy that I mentioned, Myron Dennis. Those guys beat everybody that Navajo Sterling has beaten so far. Easily. All these 8-8 guys from Hex Fight Series, a 4-0 pure kickboxer with no ground game in Philip Latu. So, yeah, I mean, and I don't go contrarian that often, but yeah, on that pick, I'm certainly going contrarian there. Back with the same three: fighter to finish by their best method: KO, submission, and decision. All right, so let's go. Josephine Knutson by decision. What else? We're going to go with Joel Alvarez by submission. And who do I have by KO? Am I picking anybody? Oh, yeah, I've got Joaquin Buckley by KO. But I'm actually probably going to be betting on So I got Quarantillo KO. I got Buckley KO. I got Johnson. We're going to go Michael Johnson by KO. So the three-way parlay, Josephine Knudsen by decision, Joel Alvarez by submission, and Michael Johnson by knockouts. All right. We got Colby Saul in the room. We got my guy D. Spearman in the room. We got Gagnon in the room. We got Mushroom saying what's up to Muhammad. We got There Will Be Blood saying Dustin is on his way out. We will see. Dustin's not old yet, but physicality and youth, yeah, for sure. I agree with that in terms of Vitor Petrino. Can't pay that price tag on Victor unless you're parlaying him with his, which is still a sweat. Yeah, I hear you, dude. I'm taking that sweat. I have Petrino in a parlay. I'm going with that decision prop. You know, I like that at plus 350. We got There Will Be Blood saying Mushroom. I made a lot of parlays. You know, I'm a degenerate parlay guy. Balls on the table. Let's go. Damn, Maverick is a midget compared to Horth. Yes, Horth is way, way, way bigger. That's why I think that Horth might be able to kind of lean on her and win some minutes in the clinch here. Use that size to kind of wear on Miranda. And if she can get on top, you know, maybe she can stay there for a while, but that's a big if. I realize Anthony Smith was an elite 205er, but that loss is aging terribly. I don't trust Vitor. Yeah, but you know, Dustin Jacoby's not submitting him. You know what I'm saying? Dustin Jacoby's not submitting anybody. Anthony Smith is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt with a ton of submissions on his record. And, you know, if Vitor gets a double leg takedown like that against Dustin, he's going for a ride. You know, he's not finishing the fight with a guillotine there. So, same here, Rob. Chalky Bet saying like fighting a jacked kindergartner. He's talking about Miranda Maverick. Hey, Mushroom, do you have cop by KO? Riff Raff saying heavy decision predictions this card. Yes, I am going with the decision predictions, but I still got finishes on 7 fights. So I got 3 decisions for Knudsen, Grant, and Maverick, and then for Makos, Petrino, and Kopp. When's the last time Kopp got to finish? It was against Jalgas, and was it Ode Osborne? Those are the guys that he finished. Bruno Silva finish only, epic call. Yeah, I like that one, dude. Plus 350 was the line. I was like, you know what? I'll take that. Maybe I'll lose, but at plus 350, Bruno Silva's finished his last 4 wins, while Manel Kopp's out there against guys like Dvorak unable to finish him. Guy like a Bowman, the Dos Santos kid that was on short notice. So we just saw Bruno Silva just one punch Cody Durden, who's tough as hell. So we'll see if it hits. It's probably, I think that fight probably goes to decision, and I probably get my money back. But and I mean, obviously, Kopp can finish just about anybody in the division. He's very explosive, so I could certainly lose that bet too. But at plus 350, I had to take the shot. We got, if Bruno wins, I'll have him shout you out. Appreciate you, man. I'm a big fan of Bruno Silva, dude. That guy is explosive. He's got really good Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's got really good wrestling, and he hits really hard on the feet. So I really enjoy watching his fights. Nice bet pro. Billy Q having a gym right there in Tampa means he's going to have to go all out, man. That's his income. That's for sure, dude. Why is Joel Alvarez twice the size of Covington? Crazy work. I know, man. He's a big lightweight. My buddy will be the parlay guy. Is all about Kopp money line and KO. All right. Fight goes to decision, says There Will Be Blood. Logan Storley, yes. It took me a while to get that one out. Yeah. We got Colby 4-5 decision on that side. Yeah, I don't mind that play at all. Like that's like a plus 300 line. I like that one. If says, let's see, we got Pro Schmo saying, why are you ripping off? We want picks. Splits, Weezy. No, I don't bet split decisions, but I think like you could see a split decision in the Grant fight. I think you could potentially see a split decision in the Marcos fight, and maybe even the Kopp fight. I think those could be very close decisions. I have one big that splits main card, and they seem to be hitting lately. If you send me a DM, I will show you a video showing you exactly why, says Pro Schmo. Trump will be there watching Colby, but is it his favorite fighter anymore? He picked Miles out of it, or for some shit, I don't know. I think his favorite fighter is Bo Nickel now, right? I think that's Trump's favorite fighter. But, this is a chance for Colby to get him back. If he goes out there and he rinses Buckley for 5 full rounds, just beating the shit out of him on the mat, maybe Colby will be Donald Trump's favorite fighter again. Guys, Weezy is a true sharp. He is the case study of this MMA space. Dude, I appreciate that, but we got to try to get even better next year, Pro Schmo. The content needs to take the next step. And I'm planning, I seriously mean this. I want to make balls deep breakdowns and probability, the shows that I do for my Patreon and Dub Club members, the two most informative and watched MMA shows for MMA sharp bettors. That's my goal for next year. And I know it's a very lofty goal, but because of the amount of sheer information that I have access to due to the database that I keep, I really believe that I can achieve that goal and make probability and make balls deep breakdowns the best shows of the week and make Stat Diggers the best free show of the week. So those are the goals for next year. So that means there's no time off. I know that you guys are like, oh, you're taking time off, a month off between fights. No time off, you guys. This whole month is going to shape the success that I could potentially have in 2025. And I want 2025 to be my best year yet. Padilla and Colby Parlay. Let's see where that would line up, because that'd be a nice fat number. And I think that they're both winning. Well, I'm picking Joaquim to win. But Colby at plus 200 and Fernando at plus 133 comes out to plus 600, Robert. That one gets the Uncle Weezy, bam, stamp of approval. So I would put my stamp of approval on that. Those are two of my favorite dogs to play this week. And I'm probably going to get to a Colby moneyline bet myself. And as a matter of fact, I will share with you guys this week's Take This Job and Shove It parlay, which will allow you, if you hit the parlay, to go into your boss's office on Monday, kick over his garbage can, and you can just tell him to take this job and shove it, because my Uncle Weezy just shipped me a bag with this tits parlay that just cashed for like plus 6,000. So stay tuned for that at the end of the show. Colby split, Weezy says there will be blood. That could be really interesting. I think it's plus 800. Shake AU in the room saying, yo, Unc, can you go through the card quickly and give us your pick for each fight before we end the stream? Shake, I did that at the beginning of the card already. I've got all my picks right there on the page. And here, as a matter of fact, let's just real quick here. Buckley KO round 3. Quarantillo KO round 3. Cop decision. Petrino decision. Marcos decision. Tacos submission round 2. Grease stand up. Michael Johnson KO round 1. Joel Alvarez submission round 2. Sean Woodson Padilla submission, Padilla submission round 2. Lima submission round 3. Maverick decision. Grant decision. Knutson decision. Alvarez, Cole. Yeah, you can. That one also gets the Uncle Weezy bam stamp of approval, Robert. I think that's a good one. Zach G saying good analysis. Appreciate you, Zach. Thanks for hanging out. I am not from the East Coast. I am from Chicago, born and raised in the fair city of Chicago. The Austin Found in the room saying, hey, Weezy, what's up, Austin Found? Good to see you hanging out in here. MM232 saying amazing content. Truly appreciate you. You should check out my content on the Patreon. It's fucking baller. Nice show today, Unc. Thank you, says Real Fight Picks. Thank you for hanging out. Kat Murison saying, thanks for the hard work this year, Unc. Truly appreciate you, Kat. Thanks for hanging out with us here today. We got Rich Indie in the room saying, for the unheard indie music. I love indie music. I got a lot of it right back there, my man. Some house music, some hip hop, and then some definitely, my indie rock. I love my indie rock. We got Zach G saying, I'm parlaying Vitor Petrino and Umar Nurmagomedov, almost getting even money. Think it's a smart move to make. I have not looked into Umar versus Merab yet, but I'm definitely picking Vitor Petrino to win, and I've got a bet on Vitor Petrino by decision, Zach, at plus 350 this week. There will be blood saying, does UFC hate Close after that slam KO? Don't think so, unless he's an asshole. I don't think they hate Drakkar Close, man. He's a good guy. Cuban Assassin saying, happy holidays, Weezy. I have my Disney Little Mermaid Winslow tree topper lit up and my Keith Peterson Newport 100s Fireball whiskey air freshener pumping. Cheers, my friend. Always good to see you, Cuban Assassin, hanging out in here. And ring a ding ding. It's my guy Matt from the Golden Octagon saying, oi, let's cash this one greasy enough to pay for all my unnecessary Christmas spending. Happy holidays to everyone. Happy holidays to you, Matt. This guy did the intro for this show. So everybody that loves that intro, shout out to Matt from the Golden Octagon. Check out his YouTube channel. Does some really great content over there on the Golden Octagon with his guy D Rose. Truly appreciate you hanging out in here, Matt. Happy holidays to you, brother. Hope you have a great holiday season. Sped saying thanks, dude. Yeah, man, you got it. Thank you for signing up to the Patreon, Sped. Lewis Beach saying first timer here, looking like a dub. Appreciate you, Lewis. Thanks for hanging out, man. They turning our odds into boxing. Yeah, I know, dude. They really are. A lot of these lines are like, you know, if you want to bet a favorite, it's like minimum minus 300, even if they should be minus 150. It's crazy. It is kind of turning into boxing. Muhammad is saying, I have a mad stat for you. In Vitor Petrino's 6 UFC fights, 3 significant strikes have landed, and Ty on significant strikes would have cashed 5 of 6 times. I'm still on Jacoby to land more significant strikes. Wow, that's crazy, dude. Ty on significant strikes would have cashed 5 of 6 times. We got to see that. I don't believe you. How could that possibly happen? Oh, no, they're very close, though. 10-11 for Petrino Smith, 10-11. 27-30 there is 3 apart. 8-9, 1 apart. 39-33, 6 apart. And then Prochnio, they were 11 apart. Wow. Yeah, I mean, sometimes those counts are a little bit different before they become official, but that's crazy. What's up, Weezy? Happy holidays, man. What do you think about Buckley's KO? Yeah, see, I'm picking Buckley to win by knockout. I think he's really athletic, and I think his footwork could potentially limit some of the wrestling exchanges of this fight. And I think that Colby having the pressure is going to put him in situations where Buckley can land big shots. I just don't know, man. I mean, I faded Buckley last time out. I think I'm going to have to fade him this time out at this number. It's just kind of wild. Colby's still plus 200. But I think if Buckley does win, it's probably going to be by KO. 100-1 odds, 13-legger hit last week. Let's keep cooking, Unc. Loving the data. Dude, 100-1. If you're hitting 100-1 parlays, my man, that is big, big money. Nice work, dude. Ignore me there, LOL. Stacking cream in the room saying, what's good, Weezy? Just seen you on Luke's show. Let's get all this fucking bread, brother. Let's get it, man. Yeah, dude, I was watching Lucrative earlier with JB, talking parlays and always having a good time doing that. And oh my God, Ring. Dang, the official sponsor of Stat Diggers, the official sponsor of your Uncle your Uncle Weezy's YouTube channel. My guy Avery Marino with the fucking massive donation. $100. Just saying, just got to catch the live. Let's crush it this week. Cheeks will be shaved. Yes, the poor Drakkar Close. I think he's going to get his ass shaved this week. But either way, appreciate you, Avery. Seriously, man. Thank you so much for the very, very, very generous donation to the show. We've hit 3 out of the last 4 Stat Diggers parlays for you, man. And I know we got another one going this week. What was it? We had, I think it was Daniel Marcos and Joel Alvarez was what the parlay was this week. But let's go, man. Let's have a great 2025 and truly appreciate all the support in 2024, Avery. It means a lot, brother. Seriously. Thank you so much. Shout out, Avery. Hell yeah, man. Yak, says Avery. You got it, man. We got, and ring a ding ding, you guys. My guy Paku, who was first place on Tapology last week. That is an amazing accomplishment. Saying, sure, Weezy, still riding high for my perfect card. 20 plus units last week. Need to lock in now and get my track bets right for this one. Let's go. Good to see you hanging out in here, Paku. Let's get this money for the last card of the year. Joe Free in the room saying, hey, Uncle Weezy, what would you say one of your best bets are on this Tampa card? Thanks, bro. You're the man. So one of my favorite bets is I like Fernando Padilla to win inside the distance at plus 380 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Padilla, I think, has finished like 13 of his 15, or maybe it's like 15 to 17. It's a lot. You know, the guy's a big-time finisher, and Woodson is a very good moment winner. So I think that if Padilla does win, it's going to be inside the distance. So I think that is extremely underpriced. One of my favorite bets from this week. Jacoby to land more significant strikes, minus 150 is pretty solid. Yeah, absolutely. Unless, Muhammad, it's Petrino getting like takedowns and a ton of control time while this is on the feet, dude. I mean, like the better minute winner and the guy with the better distance striking differential, absolutely Dustin Jacoby. So if you feel like this fight is going to spend a lot more time at distance striking range than it does in the clinch or on the mat, then yeah, Jacoby at 60% implied to land more significant strikes is really good. Oh, what is up? My guy, the bookie man in the room. Did someone say Diddy? Yeah. Somebody was in here early talking about the Diddy of MMA. We got my guy, the diehard MMA podcast. Clint is in the room saying, what up, Weezy? What's going on, Clint? Good to see you hanging out in here, brother. I know Clint's looking forward to a big 2025 as well. Let's get it, my man. We got Muhammad saying, I respect it. You have bothered to look into the Sterling fight more than me. I need Sterling to show me why he's minus 800 for sure. Yeah, dude, I mean, like, minus 800 is a crazy line, dude. You know, that should be the reserved, you know, for like Bo Nickel versus, you know, like the guys that he fought on the Contender Series. You know, I mean, like, once you get outside of that, you know what's crazy about minus 900 is that a fighter like Navajo Sterling could throw the fight and change his life by betting on his opponent at plus 600. Think about that, right? You're going to go into a cage. You know you're going to fucking lose because you're throwing the fight, and you could have all kinds of money out all over town on this tacos kid. And if somebody loaned you 20 grand, you could turn it into 120,000 and you could change your fucking life. This guy's show check is going to be $12,000 for this fight, you guys. So don't kid yourself. These fighters don't make shit. And when their lines start to go up to minus 1,000 and shit, that's when shit starts to get a little bit shady, you guys. And that's how you get clipped in this sport, is not understanding that these guys are the lowest paid athletes out of any major sport that you watch. There are bums that are the 12th guy on the end of an NBA bench, right? That will never play a fucking minute in the NBA. They're out there to take elbows in the face in practice from the power forward, right? And they are going to make more money than 80% of the UFC will this year. All these fighters that are showing up for 12 and 12 contracts, these guys on the fucking end of the bench in the NBA are making fucking $500,000 a year. They're making more than everybody in the UFC that's not headlining fights. So, yeah, he needs to show us why he's minus 800. This is what I've referred to as the steakhouse bet, is when the market is completely on one side and then something very weird happens. Like, for instance, the fight doesn't go to decision for Derek Lewis versus Jailton Almeida is at minus 10,000. And somehow the fight goes to full 25. Go ahead. Put Navajo Sterling in your parlays at minus 900. See what the fuck happens. What is up, Mushroom? Weezy as a Georgian, I have to ask about Merab versus Umar. Yeah, dude, this is going to be a hell of a test for Umar. He's never seen somebody like Merab before. And by forcing those wrestling exchanges, you know, he could take Umar to places that he's not necessarily going to be comfortable. But I have to look into this fight. Luca, this is something that I know you want your Georgian in Merab to take care of business and win this fight. And he is one of the most unique challenges in the entire UFC is trying to figure out a way to solve the puzzle that is Merab Dvalishvili. I think Merab is going to give Umar by far the toughest fight of his career. That's what I'm going to tell you right now before any research is done, before any tape is watched, before any stats are examined. That's what I would have to say, my man. We got Muhammad saying, I'm sorry, my Georgian friend. I have a lot of money on Umar at minus 200. The bookie man is saying that Colby is done. Okay. All right. We've got, I took Covington sub decision at plus 265 on DraftKings. We got Chinchek saying, nice work, Weezy. Oi! And he's saying a lot of balls putting these females in your parlay. I mean, not really, dude. I mean, like the way the UFC is these days, you know, sometimes you have to put the women in there in terms to get to 4 legs that you like. But yeah, dude, I don't mind it this week. I've got a lot of faith in Josephine Knudsen. I think she's a really, really talented fighter that's going to have a number next to her name, probably 3-4 fights from now. Exclusive Oro in the room saying Fernando by KO sound bad. No, it doesn't sound bad to me. That dude's clinch game is nasty and he hits hard. So I could see Fernando getting a KO. I could see him getting a submission. Decision will be a lot less likely because Sean Woodson is such a good minute winner. Weezy, how much money do you think in 2025 someone needs to live comfortably in one lump sum quitting and never working again? Well, it depends on how old you are, right? You know, as somebody who's passed actuarial exams, you need to know the time value of your money, the cost of living and all this stuff. But I think you could do pretty good with $1 million. You know, if you could get $1 million, you could buy a reasonably priced house, you know, and then have enough to pay your taxes and your bills and have some kind of a gig, you know, that brings in just a little bit of money to kind of cover the incidentals, the gas, the power bill, all that shit, you know, the groceries, your weekly golf game, you know, your cigarettes money if you smoke with cigarettes, you know, all that shit. Yeah, I would think $1 million would be a great start these days, man. My man, thank you, says Shake. You got it. Thank you, bro. We got Cuban Assassin saying Chael's son is cornering Colby. And he just did a promo for him in the ceremonial weigh-ins. That is interesting. Now, Colby and you know that Chael's son and, you know, the biggest biceps in West Lynn, Oregon. They're both Oregon boys, him and Colby. So it doesn't surprise me. You know, like that's his uncle Chael. So I'm surprised, though. You know, I didn't know that he was going to be cornering him. You remind me of a finance guy, data heavy, good picks. I used to work on the floor of the Chicago Stock Exchange. You know, I'm a former trader. I'm former Series 7, 63, 55 in the financial business. I've passed actuarial exams. I know all about, you know, the Black-Scholes formula and how options are created in future. I know about all the markets. It's just something that I tried to get back into in my 40s, and nobody that's in finance wants to hire anybody over the age of 30. That's the dirty little secret. Davey Grant Pick'em, I'll take that. I don't mind it, Abdi. Hope you've been doing well, says Chad King. What is up, Chad King? I'm doing well, man. Hoping Colby can pull it off. You and me both. I'm picking Buckley, but I'll be happy to get that pick wrong. Ignore that one, says LMAO. Weezy, I messed that one up. What did you mess up, dude? I don't know. We got Weezy. I think we get Buckley by decision. That'd be interesting if you won this one by decision, man. It'd be interesting. You know, because if he doesn't get Colby out of there, he's going to be wrestling a lot. We got Yes Freak in the room saying, there he is. Ayo, what's up, Yes Freak? Scottsdale, Arizona, stand up. And he's saying Scottsdale, Arizona is watching you. Let's go. Wrong stats page open. I will be on Jacoby to land more, though. Okay, got it. Understood. I was thinking about starting tracking last week, but all the odds I bet were long gone by the time I decided I might. Could someone tell me how that works? Can you enter bet ID to verify? Yeah, if you go to betmma.tips, when you post your bets there, you can always post a link to your bet ticket so that they know, and then you put your bet, you put your unit size in there so that you can always verify that you got those tickets. So you can absolutely do that. But betmma.tips is a great place to track your bets. Luca saying, it's fine, my man. Muhammad got to support my man, Marab. Uncle Weezy, we want picks as Yanez as their lock of the week. What's your opinion on this? I know those guys do a great job of picking underdogs. Jacob, in particular, does the lock of the week. You know, I mean, I think at the number, I'm picking Marcos to win, but I think at the number plus 190, I think that this is going to be a very close fight. So I don't mind a Yanez pick at all. I'm not going to get there myself, but I'm not betting the Marcos side either, because like when I gave out Marcos as a parlay leg earlier this week on Stat Diggers on Sunday, he was like minus 160. You know, he's like minus 220 now. So, yeah, you got it, Luca. Thank you for hanging out. Stacking Cream saying, yeah, that's definitely a potential meetup. The steakhouse for sure. Just laying on Black Beast for 5 rounds. I know, man. Wild one, right? I like Marab. The man is getting unnecessary hate at the moment. I think Umar is a problem for him stylistically. Debookie Man saying Shavkat has holes in his grappling and he's losing his gotta go. It's going to happen at some point, man. It's because people are gay for Umar. He's been the same guy for years now, and he's doing it versus Umar. He's getting shit for it. We got, yeah, that's a good point, says Chad. We got Muhammad saying it's when you were looking up Vitor's numbers. Oh, okay, got it. Scott G saying, Weezy, I just hopped on your stream. What are your strong plays? I like Alvarez inside the distance this week. I like a Padilla finish only prop. I like Padilla to win inside the distance. I like Vitor Petrino to win by decision, and I like Josephine Knutson to win by decision. We got the 3-legger from Stacking Cream is he's going with Alvarez inside the distance, Padilla inside the distance, and Lima inside the distance. That'll probably pay really good if that one hits, Stacking Cream. Is a bet ticket and cropped screenshot uploaded to a file sharing platform okay for MMA betting? I believe so. I think you just crop your ticket and then you can either post, you can do that. You can do that on that site. Austin Fountain saying we want picks as partial because he was on the show going Marcos. Love Yanez, but comes in with his chin on a platter. Yeah, we'll have to see, man. It's going to be a great fight, dude, for sure. Chael Sonnen is Colby's head coach for this fight. Is that true? Because I know he trains over at MMA Masters in South Florida, and I don't think that Chael's down there in South Florida, is he? I don't know where his base of operation is. I know he's an Oregon guy, but let's see. And we got Exclusive Oral saying, thank you for the knowledge, Weezy. Can't wait for next year's return. Happy holidays. Same to you, my man. You guys, that's it. 2024 is over. The content is over. So we've had a good year. I'm in first place in my guy Gordo's Ironman DFS tournament. I've had one of the best pick percentages out there on the internet in terms of picking fights this year. First place on Tapology twice this year. In the top 23 different times this year. An up year on my tracked bets. And tremendous growth on my Patreon and Dub Club community. And I'd like to thank everybody that's been a part of that. If you've been a part of the Patreon, if you've been a part of the Dub Club supporting the work, I truly appreciate you. It's people like you that are ensuring that I continue to do this. And I'm trying to do this full time and make a living off of it by creating the best MMA betting content that's available out there on the web. And I continue to try to do even better next year for you guys, to stack more cash tickets like flapjacks and to have a much better visual presentation of the data going forward. So truly appreciate everybody that's subscribed to the Patreon and Dub Club. Hit that thumbs up here. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your best bets are for UFC Tampa. And let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for the last card of the 2024 season. God bless each and every one of you. And I'm looking to come back in 2025 with an absolute vengeance and providing the best MMA betting content for you guys on the web. Everybody have a great weekend. Have a great holiday season. And we will see you guys again in 2025. Have a great one, everybody. We'll see you next year.